till you do what you said. When you opened that Bible, you knew what you read. You felt it deep in your soul. The promise did not expire. Be inspired. I can see beyond the tears you cry and the pain you feel. I saw every hill you had to climb just to make it here. When you say you ain't afraid to die, is it faith or fear?
Yo, what's up, people? I'm your host, Jay Will, and I would like to welcome you to Inspire God's People, where we balance faith and business to guide you to your purpose. This is episode 236, Why Christian Rap Sucks. Yeah, you heard it right. We're going to talk today about why Christian rap sucks. Now, I know that sounds offensive on the surface, so I got a couple of disclaimers before we jump into this conversation. First things first, I'm not saying that I think that Christian rap sucks personally. But what I am saying is that there are some aspects of why Christian rap sucks and why it sucks to be a Christian rapper, which I am. Check out my portfolio, my catalog of music by searching J Will Music. That's JWILMUSIC, all one word. Maybe I'll put a banner or something up that says J. Oh, look at that. J Will Music. Just search J Will Music. It's on the screen wherever you listen to music. Yeah, we'll flash that on and off as we go. So I am a Christian rapper. I've been Christian rapping for a very long time. So I'm coming from maybe a particular perspective. The other thing is that I also come from a gospel family, a singing family, singing and musicians and preachers. And I've been in church my whole life. So I have a lot of experience as it relates to seeing that side of it as well, just in the church world. But then also, you know, just living in life. Hey, going to college, being in school, being from Detroit. Like, I know a lot of people that do secular music, have done secular music, so on and so forth. So do I have all the answers? I don't. I'm here to share a perspective and really to open up a conversation that I've been curious about for a very long time. There's been years have gone by that where I've thought about this topic, but didn't necessarily find or know the right way to articulate it to bring about the type of conversation that I wanted to have. And I think I figured out how to do that for the most part. That's very tricky on the internet these days. So we're going to engage this conversation, look at a post I made on Facebook. And yeah, like I'm looking for curiosity to be struck, to provide a perspective that maybe people haven't thought of, to give some insight, but to also, you know, hear feedback as well. I'm not interested in arguing or debating. That's not the energy I'm on, and just not the mood I'm in. You know what I'm saying? That's not my purpose. You know what I mean? I know energy is a weird word. Like, I'm saved. I don't say energy to be weird. It's just a word. So it's a word in my vocabulary. But, you know, when people make stuff weird, you got to like bring it back home. So anyway, that's not what I'm on. I wrote a couple disclaimers so I wouldn't forget. I don't think it sucks, but it does suck being a part of it in certain aspects. We're going to talk about that. There's no hate, no shade. You know what I'm saying? My intention is really to create a conversation. And look, everybody has a right to their opinion. So you can agree with me. You could disagree with me. I think it's all good. But again, this is a conversation that I really want to have. So let me just say a couple of things before I really jump into it. Like, for me, I want to be clear that like the space that I'm coming from is like, I've been a Christian rapper for over 15 years, at least, probably longer than that. And I've seen like the ups and downs of it. You know what I mean? I've been around people. I've been, you know, kind of a part of it long enough to have done some cool concerts and stuff like that. But by no means am I like this, you know, one of the huge artists with a huge following that's touring all over the place or whatever. I've been around some of those people in different environments and things like that. I've done concerts with some of them people, but I don't qualify as that. And this ain't my full-time gig. And so I learned a long time ago, probably, I've been rapping longer than 15 years. It was probably 15 years ago that I really realized that this is not something that I could put a lot of faith in for my future and for my family. And so, you know, I work in the corporate world and I went the business route as my primary kind of income and things like that. So it's not something that I depend on for income. And I'm not trying to be like a star. So I don't want people to think that this conversation is coming from a bitter place or a place of somebody that feels like they deserve more attention or they want to be a star or something like that or make more money. Like this isn't about money. Let's take money out of it. But I do think there's some frustrations that Christian rappers have, right? So there's this contentious relationship, is that the right word, between, I think, the church and Christians and then Christian rappers. And it's something that I've seen for years, like I said, and never really addressed. And on the surface, before I read my Facebook post, some of that contention comes from the fact that there's really no place for Christian rappers in church. So when I look at all of the skill sets and gifts in church, right, singing is probably people elevate singing over preaching, right? I'm not saying this is right. I'm saying what I see. Like singers are the biggest part of church, right? And maybe put singing and preaching right next to each other. So if you have the gift to sing, you have value in the church. People will call you anointed because you can sing, appointed, and you can get access to all type of stuff. You get to eat dinner with the bishops. And, if you can sing in the church world, that is a big deal. And that is a gift that is highly coveted, highly appreciated. You can make money being a singer in church. Like you can be on a payroll, you know what I mean? Being a singer at church. So I'm just making the difference between musical gifts in particular, right? You can make money in church and you have value as a musician in church because the music in the church has value. But then you got this gift of rap that is like this like little step cousin over on the side where if a person is a Christian rapper, maybe you get to come up on a youth month. If we have a summer vacation Bible school, maybe you can rap. We're never trying to pay you. If we do, it's the bare minimum in comparison to singers, right? Like there's not a lot of value for the gift of rap in church. So we're going to unpack why I believe some of that is. At the end of the day, there is a difference. And when you have that gap, there's rappers, people that rap with that gift. And when it's not valued in the church, then people go where they are valued. And so a lot of times, because rap is something that, I guess you could say more so comes from street culture, at least in modern times. I'm not saying that's where it originated. I'm saying the correlation between it and street culture is closer. So a lot of rappers want to be valued in the streets, so to say, or amongst like the secular world of the rap fans and rap culture, and that is largely obviously not in church. And so there is just this contention between what it even means to be a Christian rapper and all of these things. So I'm going to share this Facebook post and read through it real quick that I shared this morning. I don't know if you can see it that well on the screen, but I am sharing it just so you can at least have it as a reference point. Let's read through this. Then I'm going to break down some of my thoughts. And then I'm going to actually look at some of the comments as well. So here's what I said. Bad part about being a Christian rapper. Christians don't care about Christian lifestyle lyrics. Hear me out real quick, no shade. Singing is about emotion and rap is about lifestyle, generally speaking. For example, R&B is all about crying and relationships and how you feel. Hip hop is about how you think and how you live. With Christian music, Christians love praise and worship songs because they tackle the emotion of how we feel about God. But those same Christians prefer secular hip hop over Christian rap. The elephant in the room is that it's because they don't think Christian rappers are as talented as the secular stars. We're going to talk about that. Well, that's subjective, and there's no real way for me to argue that. Only thing I can say is that I believe it's because they resonate with the lifestyle of secular rap more than Christian rap. Let's be honest. We feel real good about God, but we ain't trying to actually read the Bible every day. That's not entertaining to us, not as much as our sin is. And this is why I think Christians will celebrate a secular hip hop artist who kind of sort of mentions God over a Christian rapper who is completely immersed in creating God-centered content. I'll just read the last line I said. Either way, I want you to search J Will Music where you listen to music and explore my catalog as I prepare to drop a new album this summer. That's right. I got a new album coming this summer, and I want you to add J Will Music to your playlist, whether it be on Apple Music or Spotify or wherever, and check out, I got, 70 songs or so, 60 to 70 songs out there you can check out as we lead into my new project this summer. All right, enough about that. So let me get this off the screen and kind of go back to, like, let's unpack some of this. When I say singing is an emotion and rap is about lifestyle, let me try to dig into that, like and break that down, right? When you think about R&B, the example I use, R&B music is just, it's funny, it's cool, but it's like a bunch of crying, a bunch of like, I miss you, girl, and this and that, a lot of, he left me, she left me. Like R&B music is a lot of that energy. And, it's about crying and relationships. It's about emotion and how you feel. But hip hop, if you think of, and this is like, I'm not talking Christian right now, I'm talking about music in general. Hip hop is about how you think and how you live. So my example is like when you think about hip hop music, that's why you had like gangster rap and stuff like that. Hip hop is really about a person's lifestyle, like what you do and how you think about the world around you. When you really dig into your favorite hip hop music, that's really what it's unpacking. It's an ideology in a way that people think. And so that's a big difference between how we consume rap in general versus how we consume singing. Now I want to relate this to like church. In church, from a singing perspective, remember, we consume singing from an emotional standpoint. In church, singing is all about like, they love praise and worship. We love praise and worship. Why? Because it's how you feel about God. It's your emotional connection to God. That's why people be in church, oh God, oh, singing and, tearing down strongholds and woo, all that. That's all like, it's attached to emotion. Whether people really like it or not, it's really attached to emotion. What up, fam? Rap is what you do. Hip hop is what you live. Interesting. That's a very interesting quote. So when you think about what it means in the church world, it's people love and resonate with these praise and worship songs because it's how we feel about God. Now, I love praise and worship, and I think praise and worship is dope. But I also think, if I'm just being real, and again, I don't say nothing I'm saying to be offensive, but there's an aspect of praise and worship in church that I believe is out of whack. I believe we have elevated music in a way that is not necessarily biblical, right? And even in a lot of ways, we've elevated music over the word. And what has happened is because praise and worship is so highly elevated in church, like that means that the emotional connection that you have for God is elevated, which I'm not saying is bad, but I'm saying that it can be bad. And that's why you can have like certain artists and certain songs that ain't even really aligning up biblically, but it's aligning with some emotion that you feel. And people, again, it's very tricky. People be calling stuff anointed that ain't really anointed. Like, what do that even mean in some context? Like, there's a lot of like little detail behind it. But when you think about rap, right? Rap, again, it's, when you think about this idea of like when a person is, when someone writes a rap song, I'm gonna give you one difference. I always tell my brother, Darius James, who's a praise and worship singer and one of the coldest ones in the world. So check out Darius James for sure. He got a new joint that just dropped recently called Come to the River. And so I always tell Darius, like, man, y'all be cheating as like praise and worship singers because y'all can have a song that's 4 words and y'all just sing it for 10 minutes. It's like people just keep repeating it. I don't want to sing those songs because I don't want to offend nobody using a song. But you know what I'm saying? It's like certain songs just cross your mind. Break every chain, break every chain. You could just keep chanting it. And it's just, woo! And people go crazy. Cool. That's that emotional connection. Not saying it's bad. I'm just pointing out what it is. So then, though, if you have a rap song, typically it's like all these lyrics and all these bars. And a lot of times it's this storyline. And it's more to it that in a church setting, maybe somebody could argue is like, yo, I don't even have time to learn that. You know what I'm saying? And so that could be one way to look at it. Or maybe somebody could just say like they don't get it, right? Let's see. People equate talent with anointing, and that's not in the frame of biblical definition. I completely agree. And that's exactly what I'm saying. Sometimes somebody just talented and it tap into our emotions and we call it anointing. This point, though, that I'm trying to make about the way we consume rap versus the way we consume music is simply to say this. A lot of Christians are tapped into the emotional aspect of how we feel about God, but we are not necessarily tapped into what it means to live a Christian lifestyle. And so what that means is that when somebody starts going into lyrics and bars about the actual Bible or the lifestyle and like all these like maybe witty connections of like the scripture and metaphors and things like that, the truth of the matter is some people can't connect with it because they don't know the word. Some people can't connect with it because they don't actually really get into the Bible or the Christian lifestyle outside of being in church. And so I'm not saying that's everybody, just kind of hear me out. What I'm trying to say is that there is this connection between your lifestyle and some of the music that you like to listen to outside of just what emotionally makes you feel good. Now, how do I know that some of it is emotional and it's not about lifestyles? Because, the secular people love gospel music too. Take Me to the King, all that. Well, again, that sounds good. You got the skill set of singing, all of that. But it's like a lot of people can like that stuff and they're not really trying to be taken to the king. It's like, they're not really like connecting to what the song actually means. And I think that's just us as the church. We don't do a good enough job as establishing the word as the foundation of what it means to live a Christian lifestyle. Regardless of all this music, regardless of all this entertainment, we've become so entertainment focused that we're not lifestyle driven. And so it's like, say God, and that sounds good, but don't say God and really try to like get me to live something. Don't come at me like that. Like, don't judge me, whatever. We don't want that level of conviction that causes us to change. Or we just don't connect with that lifestyle, right? And so I think what happens is you'll have Christian rappers who are rapping, and that person that loves that praise and worship song that also doesn't like to hear or see rap in church, they're also the person that still goes home and watches the BET Awards. They are like the same person that'll be up there on Sunday. And, like I saw a lot of clips of preachers. They not like us. They not like us. They not like us. I thought you didn't like rap. Remember, like, that's what I'm saying. It's this weird desire to be a part of the world when it relates to rap. And I don't fully understand it, but I'm going to continue to share at least some of my thoughts. All right, so moving on to the next part of this. I talked about those Christians that prefer secular hip hop over Christian rap. Now, let's talk about, I want to be fair, and let's talk about some of the reasons that people may say that they like secular hip hop over Christian rap, right? The number one thing that I hear is that Christian rap is corny. Like, I hear that like from people all the time. Christian rap is corny. All right, cool. So for me, I'm the kind of person like I want to hear you out, but I also want to make sure like what are we actually saying? Like, what is corny? So when you say Christian rap is corny, my question is what makes it corny? And let's be fair, I'm gonna look at both sides. People will say it's because they're not skilled, right? So just meaning like, you're not actually good enough. Like you can't actually rap. And some people will say like, you couldn't make it in a secular world. Now you're trying to come over here and rap in the church just because maybe it's less barriers to entry to be a Christian rapper or less competition overall, even though I would argue that that's not the case anymore. That might have been the case at one point in time where there was just less Christian rappers. So it's like, let's go over here and do Christian rap and we don't have that much competition. So people will say, these Christian rappers are unskilled, right? They don't have talent. Cool. Someone will say they're pandering, right? So like you don't even really believe those lyrics. You're not really a Christian or whatever. Like you just pandering, trying to get connection with an audience because you want to blow up. Cool. I think these things are true in some cases. And then like sometimes this is the opposite argument I want to make. Substance can make something corny. So you got to really ask yourself what's corny to you. And here's what I mean by it. If you take the kids in school, at least when I was coming up in school, let's say, it's corny if you the kid that don't drink, you don't smoke, or you not sleeping around yet, whatever. That's corny, right? So then I gotta step back and say, and I'm not talking self-righteous from like when I was a kid. I'm more so talking like if I had a kid now, how I would want them to look at that. I would be telling my kid, like, yo, like, you have to define what's corny. They corny. Why they not corny? They going around and doing things that's going to put them in a worse spiritual position. People that's going around doing things that's causing a disconnection between them and God. People that are going around doing things that's going to make their lives harder in the long run. Why that's not corny? Like, so sometimes when people say the content of Christian rap is corny, my argument is like, oh, you just think being a Christian is corny. And if you think being a Christian is corny, if you think righteousness is corny, you don't ever have to like me. Like, it's all good. Like, I'm gonna be corny to you if I have the perspective of righteousness and striving after righteousness, and you think it's corny, right? Like, I'll give you an example. Like in the corporate world, you know, I go on a lot of, take a lot of business trips and stuff throughout the year. And one of the, I'll say is, I'll be honest, is maybe one of the most irritating things that happens in corporate America. Corporate America is drink culture. That is an alcoholic culture, not necessarily drunk culture, even though that happens, but just culturally, it's drinking. You know, drinking is something that people do, drinking alcohol in social environments, it's cocktail parties. Like, and so I go to all these events, all these charity events, it's always a cocktail hour. Cool, no problem, whatever. The only problem I have is, like, when you're not drinking, everybody always wants to question you. Oh, you not drinking? What you having? It's irritating because it's like, yo, like, I'm just not drinking. Now, you might think maybe I'm corny, maybe I'm lame because I'm not getting drunk at the bar tonight. I think you're corny. And so that's the difference. It's like I decide what's corny. So I think one of the weird things just as Christians, and this is more of a message to Christian rappers, like, yo, if the world thinks you're corny, that's on them, bro. Like, to me, corny is in the eye of the beholder. Like, you could think whatever you want to think about me. Like, it don't change who I actually am. So, like, no, I'm a leader. I'm not a follower. I don't actually seek validation from followers. Like, and so I think that's sometimes what we get caught up in is like trying to fit into the world's box of what's corny and what's not. Like, no, it's corny not to be smart. It's corny to talk ignorant. It's corny not to know how to communicate. So to me, it's about changing the narrative, at least in your own mind, and how you view it. You feel what I'm saying? That's a good way to put it. Dysfunction is the end thing. And I think that's the exact point that I'm trying to make is like, if dysfunction is the end thing, then we have to be okay with being considered corny or outcast or whatever it is, right? So the other thing I had was, and this is actually the flip side of that argument, is some people think Christian rap is corny because all they do is follow the world. So it's like, hey, this is why I've never liked this. Like, I am not the worldly or secular version of nothing. Like, I've never bought into that. Like, he's the Christian Common. Like, no, I'm not. I'm me. Like, I'm not. When I get dressed and walk around outside, I'm not dressed like the Christian nobody. This is my swag. This is how I dress today. Like, so I do think sometimes as Christians, we seek too much validation in the world. And somehow we've given them the standard, that we've given them like the ability, the definition of being a standard. And sometimes I think that's just in your own mind, because if you view somebody as a standard and you want to be like them, then cool. But that, for me, like, again, if I was raising kids, I would not teach them to think like that. Like, a person might be thinking like that because they have some undealt with insecurities. Maybe they need to deal with some validation issues in their own life, and only God can really heal and address those things. But when you have those vulnerabilities and those kind of gaps in your life, that kind of comes through if you're an artist and you just want to be like the world. I think that's weird. You know, I do. And I'll tell you, when I first started listening to Christian rap in college, when it was introduced to me, I literally was like, that's whack. Like, I'm just telling you honestly, my first impression was like, oh, that's horrible. It wasn't because it didn't sound good. It wasn't because the beat or sonically all these words people use. You know what was whack to me? That they was trying to sound like Jay-Z. I could tell they were trying to sound like who the hottest rapper of that time was. And that was whack to me. And so I think we have to redefine what's corny. Corny to me is trying to be like other people. See, originality is something that I don't think people actually know how to think through. So Christian rappers will get a, kind of this stereotype of not being original, right? And I do, again, like I said, just keep in mind, none of this stuff applies to everybody. There are some people where this stuff applies to. But at the same time, what really ends up happening is this. The mainstream influences people more than they think. People don't really want original. They want the same. What do I mean by that? I'm going to use cars as an example. Right now, over the last few years, there's this crazy surge of electric cars, right? When you talk to people who've never driven or don't own an electric car, it's so foreign to them. It's like, man, how do you, is it, how is it not going to the gas station? It's like, it's great. It's no gas. Like, my point is, something could be so different and so creative that it's ahead of its time, that the masses of people just haven't caught up with it yet. So even though we see electric cars kind of everywhere now, you see what they doing to Teslas and, battering and bruising Teslas. That's horrible. Why are you doing that? Especially believers. Come on, we can't support that kind of activity. But my point is, as much as Teslas are everywhere, I meet people all the time that's never sat in a Tesla, never driven a Tesla. So what does that mean? Like, you see a Cybertruck. That's unique. That's original. What do people say? The masses say it's ugly. It looked like a toaster. This. My point is, people will say in music, oh, y'all not, Christian rappers not creative. You know what? No, sometimes, I'm not saying all the time. I'm going to speak for myself. I know for a fact there are some things that I do in my music because it's not copying what the world is doing and not copying what people are used to. The creativity can't even be appreciated or understood, right? And it may be even looked at as whack, as corny, whatever, because, you see a toaster when you see a Cybertruck because you never been in one. You never drove it. You never even looked at what the advantages actually are. So just because it's different to you, you're going to talk bad about it until somebody that you look up to gets it, or until some people validate it in your world of influence, and then you jump into it. So that's how music works a lot of times. A lot of times with music, it's like people will say something is whack or it ain't creative, but really you just saying, no, I've been brainwashed to listen to music this type of way or from this person. I can only value creativity from this person. You get what I'm saying? What up, though? Grace and peace to you too, fam. And so my point is, I'll give you an example. There's times that a popular secular rapper will say or do something, and people will be like, oh my God, did you hear that? And I'm like, bro, that is not as creative as you think, but you're giving this person credit for it just because you just like anything they do. And now I'm not even down in that. What I'm trying to say is, when a person is famous or has influence, they also have the ability to create culture. And so what do I mean? I mean, when a famous person, this is why they get paid for endorsements. If a famous person comes out in baggy jeans when skinny jeans are in, then it's looked at like, oh, wow. Okay, that's why they're influencers. That's why they get paid millions of dollars to wear these brands, because they can rappers can make a brand of alcohol popular. They can make clothes popular. And this is why I say rap is about lifestyle. You don't really hear this in R&B necessarily. Rap is what kind of guides people lifestyle, behaviors, decisions, right? When Jay-Z was wearing throwback jerseys and rapping about them back in the early 2000s, what you think we were doing? We was rocking throwback jerseys everywhere. They were selling out. When he was rapping about certain liquor, that's what people were drinking. What's my point? My point is that sometimes you got to understand that famous people just have more influence and more ability to be creative. Whereas I'm going to say me, just to, make it about me and not nobody else, like in a bad way. Like, I could do something creative and you could think it's whack because it hasn't been validated by your favorite artist. And I think this is all part of why Christian rappers sometimes get considered corny. It's just because, like, even if they do something creative, you're not influenced by them. You are more brainwashed by the world's culture, and also to the point that people will blindly follow secular culture. You know what I'm saying? Chris, what up, bro? Look, man, I'm trying my best to kind of like kick it about this in a fair way. You know what I'm saying? And so one of the things that I think is frustrating for Christian artists, and I'll say this, is you'll have church people who don't freely welcome Christian rap in church, right? Who almost, if you rap in church you're almost looked at as a secondhand citizen in a lot of cases, or not as skilled or worldly. But then those same people, the preacher comes up and he preaching a sermon and it's called Not Like Us, and everybody's singing the Not Like Us song from a rapper that's not a Christian, people that blaspheme God, people that represent violence and all kind of stuff. Okay, like maybe they're skilled or whatever, but it's like, yo, like, wait, I'm worldly if I rap, I'm not welcome in the church, but you will use a sermon title from somebody who literally blasphemes God, or we giving them super amounts of credit because, oh, did you hear they mentioned God? He said God, but that you making it up. He ain't even say that. And so what I'm trying to say is, I think it's tough sometimes as a Christian rapper. It could suck because here you are overtly trying to push the gospel, talk about God, be original, be unique. But really there's this pressure. And I'm not talking about for me. I'm just being honest. Like, you're not going to pressure me to copy nobody. Like, I'm not really talking, like, this is about the broader subject. I don't want nobody, like, really, you can tell me whatever, it don't matter. Like, I'm not going to make a fool out of myself by not being original. So, but my point is, you do put pressure, especially on the younger generation, when you're elevating these artists, you're using these artists in your sermon, you're saying, oh, this person is cool because they said thank God in their award speech, but yet all of the content and the substance of what this person puts out promotes a lifestyle that is far from Christ. Meanwhile, you have this people over here that's trying to write lyrics and be creative in Christ and use their gifts and their purpose, and you're casting them to the side, or you don't value them the way that you value singers. I think that is a major problem in the church. You feel me? In the Super Bowl, Kendrick came out in some bootcut jeans that look strong enough, but pH balance, and folks ate it up. That's true. Hey, you should have been listening to the pod, fam. It's all good. Now you know. No, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, and I do think, again, when you think about influence, that's what I'm trying to say. So let's take, again, just like the wide-leg jeans that have kind of come back in style. And in all fairness, I've seen them before Kendrick was doing it. Like, I have a pair of pants that's like wide leg that don't look like that, and they kind of more. Anyway, they swaggy to me, but so I want to be fair, but I didn't like those. I'm just keeping it a book. I did not like those. I didn't like how they was being rocked. But my point is, that's what I mean by influence. Because this person did it, it's acceptable. I'm gonna give you one example before I go on. Appreciate it, fam. Before I go on. I remember I was in a bowling alley and I'm, in all fairness, like, just me, I don't listen to a lot of music, and I definitely am not a person that listens to secular music. I hear stuff, but I'm not riding. I can't, like, with me, I'm a weird person. Like, I know I'm weird. So I'm not saying you should be like me or nothing. I'm just saying I'm a little weird. Like, I really be sensitive about, like, I live off inspiration, motivation. Like, I'm really trying to get somewhere in life. I've really been trying to get somewhere in life. So, like, whether it's a book I'm reading, a movie, I mute commercials. This is how, so I'm not telling you to be like me. I put commercials on mute because I don't like being sold stuff that I don't want. And so for me, I'm really sensitive about what I allow to go into my spirit. Like who I allow to talk to me, because I don't want to be subconsciously influenced by something or taking in something and hearing it so many times that I allowed to be influenced. And I don't listen to secular rap because I'm a rapper and I don't want to be influenced by them. I don't want to be, again, just subconsciously. So for me, I just hear stuff, whether it's on, I see stuff every now and maybe I click play and be like, what's this song about, right? Like, this song is supposed to be so great. I remember I was in a bowling alley the first time I heard Drake God's Plan. And this was a few years ago, whatever year that was, like, really a popular song. And I remember just being like, wow. So it's okay to, it's like swaggy and it's acceptable to have it's not corny to have a song just, I don't know how it goes. It's God's plan. Whatever, guys. I don't know how it go. I just know he's saying God's plan. But my point is, I'm like, I remember sitting there in a bowling alley and everybody was going crazy, including my church people that I was with. And no shade to them. But I remember looking, I was like, so this ain't corny? Like a person that doesn't, I don't want to say whether he believes in God or not. I don't know. I don't follow him, and I'm not trying to bash nobody. I really don't know. But I know that he doesn't project that belief, right? And so I'm like, wow, so it's cool to have a song that's like God's plan, whatever, that ain't really talking about God's plan versus having a song that's talking about God's plan and actually talking about the God of the Bible. And that's corny to us. We can't get behind that. Where'd my hat go? That's weird to me. I want to talk about this aspect of the church, because I think this ain't to bash the church. I'm really trying to talk about something that I think is a problem. You know, in church, Christian rap, you know, you at best, you're going to be on youth night. It's not taken serious. Now, I also want to be fair and say this. I have been extremely blessed. As a Christian rapper, a lot of people have respected me. A lot of people have supported me. So this is not coming from a bitter place personally. This is more about like in general. I've been blessed to do a lot of rapping on Sundays. And I know that people don't get those opportunities. Now, I think in some ways, a message to the Christian rappers is to say this. If you want to be taken seriously, you have to be serious. And I think this is a problem in rap in general. And I do want to say this. Some of the problems that we say is Christian rap, secular rap is the same thing. All these people ain't talented. Trust me. These people are not all talented. It's a lot of attention seekers. It's a lot of corny people. Like the same. I don't like putting the Christian label on some of these critiques because I think they're just critiques of society at large. Like, yo, a lot of these rappers, you don't think it's corny when a rapper raps about killing and selling drugs and all that, and then the Fed catch them and they start snitching on all their homies? That's corny. They start singing in the interrogation room like Aretha Franklin. You just singing, telling it all. But you rapped all this stuff. That's not corny. That's super corny. It's not corny to be rapping about killing and all this stuff and your kids go to private school and you live in a gated community. That's corny. Part of the problem with rap is that we haven't figured out how to progress in rap. And so I think with church, we throw it off to the youth side because no one has, I ain't gonna say no one. Let me not speak I don't want to overgeneralize everything. I don't think we figured out at large how to mature in rap. And I mean this for the secular too. So here's a thought, right? And these are all, by the way, concepts that I explore in my upcoming album that I have not shared the name yet. So I want you to get ready for the music I have dropping by listening to my previous music. So just search J Will Music on Spotify, Apple Music. I got, probably 8 to 10 projects out there dating back between 2011 and 2021, I think is my last one. So yeah, check that out as well. J Will Music, add it to your playlist. I got some songs in there. And you can tell me, am I corny? Am I whatever? But here's the one thing I'm going to tell you. Rap is a young genre. If you want to say hip hop, if you want to say like where this whole hip hop turned 50 last year. So my thing is, even when you look in the secular world, they haven't figured out how to mature. So with rock and roll, you got like alternative rock, classic rock, indie rock. You have all these sub-genres of rock and roll and I don't listen to rock and roll, but just, being in life, right? Being at a restaurant, if what's the Sweet Caroline comes on, is that like alternative rock maybe? Like you get people that could be 60 years old singing that song. So like other genres of music have aged, even R&B ages well. Why? Because from a lifestyle perspective, I mean, everybody still be in relationships and intimate and in love. So R&B ages. So an R&B artist can sing until they die. Luther Vandross was releasing songs forever. R&B artists, you see them from when they're young. Stevie Wonder come out as young and they just sing forever, right? R&B, pop, that. With hip hop, what happens is in the rap genre, people haven't figured out how to be adults. So what happens is rap is tied to all this negativity about the past and where people came from. And then once people start growing, they like, all right, well, I'm not living that way no more, but I got to be true to the streets. And this is all corny to me, by the way. I got to be true to the streets, and you got to talk about this old stuff. Oh, because the new you is corny? Because you not comfortable with the new you, because you not creative with the new. So these are the people I'm supposed to follow. The people that can't figure out how to rap about their actual lifestyle now, who only know how to talk about what they were, or only know how to throw money and sex and girls in people's face. All right, cool. My whole thing with all of this is, how are these the creative people? Yes, the only time hip hop is age appropriate, inappropriate is when the content is juvenile. So here's the thing, right? Here's what I want to say. You know, I was listening to Steve Stout, right? Who I think he used to be Nas's manager. He's a big name in the music industry if you don't know him. This was about a year or two ago. He was on this interview. I actually think it was on Club Shay Shay, actually. And he said something that stuck with me so much. I've written songs about using this concept in my new project. I explore this idea. And what he said was, he said that he talked about LL Cool J in particular, but he was talking about artists why their first or second album is always better, always their best work. And why rappers struggle, he's talking secular rappers, they struggle to have classic records later in their career. You think about rappers, Kanye West, College Dropout. I mean, that was when I stopped pretty much listening to all that stuff, but that was one of my favorite albums ever when it dropped, College Dropout, right? I don't know what Kanye's doing now. Look at how this stuff, how it progresses. My point is, he made a point that he said what happens is they make the first album or two and they're hungry and they're in the street and they're struggling. And what happens is once they get success, they lose that hunger. And he said what they have to do, he talked about LL Cool J, I don't know if it was his third album or whatever, one of his albums, he was like, LL had to go back to the hood and like get in that environment and get back grimy, and that's how he produced the new record. Now, he said that, and he was speaking of this as a good thing. I want you to know that I think this is super cornball behavior. Like, this is as corny as it gets to me. You feel me, Chris? And so what happens is, and I'm only calling this behavior out because what I'm trying to get people to see is the reason people think Christian rap sucks is not really the reason it sucks. The reason it sucks is because we believe in that we need to follow the world. Like, if you're going to be a leader, if you're a royal priesthood, you know, like made in God's image, then this is a new thing. This is something new. This should be something different. You should be creating stuff that we never heard before. You should be putting out concepts that we've never explored. And more importantly, you should be exploring concepts based on your new life. You are a new creature in Christ. The old things are passed away. They're put behind you. People who can only rap about the past are not creative. How are you the most creative people in the world and you can't figure it out? You got to go back to the hood. So wait a minute. Let me get this straight. God brought you out. You was delivered. You know, you got success. You made money. And the only way you know how to create now is to go back to where you came from and where you've been delivered from and basically lie to make music that resonates with these people. My point is this, people. We need to figure out how to progress and pull people forward. Now, you're going to ask me why. Why is this important? It goes back to the point I made in the beginning. R&B and singing is emotion. Rap is lifestyle. The reason Christian rap is important, the reason that positive rap is important, and progressive rap is important, and it's important to be creative, is because these are lifestyle ideologies. You don't believe me? You think it's just beats. Okay. Ask somebody what they was listening to before they robbed a bank or did a drive-by. It was not We Fall Down. It was not something. It was something that reflected the lifestyle they live. The biggest problem in Christian rap to me is that people are rapping about stuff that doesn't reflect a Christian lifestyle. I'm a Christian. I don't need a club version of a Christian song because I don't live that out. There's no, when I create music, I try to think, where can a person live this out? What is a situation that somebody could be living this out in? What am I creating this music for? In the world, you were creating music because you was really in the streets. You was really selling dope. You were really in a strip club. You were really doing whatever you were doing, and you made music to resonate that lifestyle. Why do I know it's real? Just YouTube, rapper that died, rapper gets killed. I see it all the time. Never heard of the people. Every city, urban areas across the country, they're killing each other, but they're making music that talks about killing each other. Then they go and kill the people in the music. They're actually dying. This is the power of rap music. It is lifestyle and ideology. It's not just beats. Miss me with that. Miss me with it's just a vibe. No, it is not. It may be partially that. It is lifestyle, ideological music that actually drives people to behaviors. And the reason that it just keeps happening and happening and happening is nobody wants to say it. So we keep seeing young urban men, a lot of times black men, growing up without, in these bad situations. Then they start rapping about the bad situation. Then the negativity just increases. And we call this creative. We like their songs. Oh, but because you made a post about him after he died, then this means something, right? Why the people, I'm just going to be honest with you. I never saw Nipsey Hussle get much love when he was alive as he did when he died. And I don't know nothing about Nipsey. I'm just stating the fact that that's what we do. We wait till the people in this lifestyle actually become victims of this lifestyle to get all self-righteous and try to flip it into positive. It ain't positive, dog. And look, if people who live in that life, I'm not here. All I could do is say, I hope that you could give your life to Christ and be saved. I'm not talking to them. I'm talking to the Christians. I'm talking to Christians who support this stuff and then tell people who are doing something positive that they're corny. Wait a minute. Remember, this is lifestyle behavioral-based music. It's like an audiobook. When I listened to audiobooks about real estate, then I started selling properties or doing something. All right, there's this scene in one of my favorite movies ever is The Founder, which is the story is with Michael Keaton. It's the story of the McDonald's brothers and how McDonald's started. If you haven't seen this movie, I definitely encourage you to check it out. In the Founder movie, it opens up and Ray Kroc, who I'm not saying follow Ray Kroc. He did some shady things. But my point is, he was listening to an audiobook on a vinyl in his hotel room. And it was about persistence. It was about not stopping and being successful. Ray Kroc wasn't until he was about 54 that he started working with McDonald's. He was a milkshake salesman. But for us now, we'd be done gave up on life at 54 if we're not multimillionaires. My point is he was actually reinforcing and telling himself what he wanted to be. I'm just telling you that whatever you put in your system is what you're going to produce. So here's my point. Not to criticize whatever. Don't mistake my passion for anger or something. But my point is the reason that I create music around the concept of inspiring God's people, the reason that when I go into my studio and I'm writing and coming up with concepts, I'm not thinking in my head, how can I sound relevant to people who in the world actually killing people and actually sinning? I'm thinking, what can I say? How can I creatively tell this story that captures what I actually want to become and what I actually want to produce? The Bible, the Great Commission, calls us to produce disciples, to be disciples, to produce other disciples, right? So there is a biblical aspect of planting seeds and then growing those seeds. For me, with my gift, I take my gift as a Christian rapper serious enough that it is about the seeds I plant to produce lifestyle behavioral changes for people and put them in a mindset where they can overcome where they are. What's my point? When I started this journey, I was broke. I might have been rapping about the idea of being broke. When I started having a couple dollars, and I'm not saying, don't take it wrong. I'm not saying I got all them. I'm not saying I'm paid like that. But I rap about my real situation. I'm ambitious. I'm growing. So I talk about finances from a healthy biblical perspective. If I don't talk about it, who is? We're just going to stay in poverty. If I don't talk about, all right, some ups and downs in marriage, this is how I'm trying to grow. Like what I'm saying is you have to, how is it corny if this is my life? If your life is corny, that's on you, bro. None of y'all telling me, nobody convincing me that what I'm rapping about is corny. at all. Let me see what y'all saying in these comments. I appreciate y'all for vibing with me. Let's see. Once they get that success, they lose their hunger. That is right, Christina. I would agree 100%. And my thing is like, see, I got this line. So I'm gonna tell you, certain lines gonna come to me, and I'm gonna tell y'all this line I got in a song. I haven't released it. I probably put it out on Instagram or something. It's this line I got. Being broke ain't as hard as they seem. When you make a couple dollars, it gets harder to dream. See, like little stuff like that. I'm sorry. You're not gonna convince me that that's not a bar. Being broke ain't as hard as it seems. When you make a couple dollars, it gets harder to dream. See, that was me. That's how I captured that feeling. Because, yes, it is a struggle because life changes. Like, yo, I used to be rapping thinking I wanted to get a record deal and make money. Then when I make some money and I don't need rap for that, then it's like, well, but I got this gift. And I'm like, whoa, being broke ain't as hard as it seems, dog. When you make a couple dollars, it gets harder to dream. No, I'm sorry. You're not going to convince me that I'm not. Check out, look, let me tell y'all, J Will Music. I'm telling you right now, check out J Will Music. My favorite 2 projects that I ever put out was God Knows My Art, that was 2017, and Inspire God's People was 2019. You check out those 2 projects. You tell me I don't have bars. I think it's okay. It's subjective. You don't have to like them, but this is me just being hype and feeling like I got bars, okay? I apologize. I don't mean that in no arrogant way at all, okay? Levels to this conversation. People do music to get famous and rich, but they lose that hunger that made them great artists. I completely agree. And then we also have to talk about, why would I want to be famous? Why would I want to enter this industry? That's the other part of this conversation. As Christian rappers, like, yo, like, I get tired of people thinking they're gonna go into Hollywood and change Hollywood. Oh yeah, I remember people used to meet with Kanye. People used to meet with Nick Cannon. They'd be trying to convince you like, oh yeah, you don't know what's happening behind the scenes. Trust me, dog. Bro, you're not going to save Hollywood. It's never going to be Hollywood. Like, I have no problem with you if you meeting with people that you connected with. If you in places, cool. Just do it as a regular human being. But trying to sell it to me that, oh no, don't worry. No, these people seem to get worse after y'all meet with them. Why? Because fame is a monster. I watch fame. Look, people start off famous, they seem normal. I'm not saying everybody. Please don't take it personal if it's you. But please check out J Will Music. But I watch people start off normal when they fame, and they get weirder and weirder. Like, weird. Just think of any artist. Plug it in. I don't want to name nobody because I don't want to talk bad about people. Think about when they first came out. Think about where they at today. Just weirder, right? But y'all want that? Like, bro, I'm not trying. I got a song called Run From Fame. I'm telling you, I got songs for all these. This is the dope thing about it. I have song concepts that are out. You could check out Run From Fame on Apple Music. One of the dopest songs that I've put out, I believe. It's about the idea of running from fame for these same reasons. And you're going to hear some consistencies in what we're talking about today. As a Christian, we hunger and thirst for Christ continually. This is why we should be dominating, yes, in the content of quality, where I completely agree. Quality, original art. Original art, y'all. Like, God, if you're created in the image of God, like I told you, I don't listen to all these people. I don't listen to who y'all think is the best rappers in the world. Don't listen to none of their albums. Because I got the source, bro. I got the source. But I'm going to always be corny to somebody. If your lifestyle, right? Just think about it. If your lifestyle is you a dope dealer, or you in this world doing all, let me use girls for instance. If you came up in a certain culture when girls wear booty shorts and they half naked everywhere they go, and then you get a girl that's dressed more modest, but she's still cute, she might seem whack to them because they have a perspective that in order to be attractive, you have to be half naked. Why would the girl that's fully clothed and still cute and got a husband and living like, why would she be trying to please those people? No offense to them. No offense to you if you're in that space right now. This isn't about judgment. I'm really trying to unpack the layers of this conversation. All right, let's keep it going. Christian rap sucks because they're trying to become like the world. We should explore new concepts and release new songs. I love this, Christina. Yeah. I hit on this earlier. Like it's corny if you trying to be like the world. Being original ain't corny. Hate to break it to you. Not better because I'm different. Not different because I'm better. I'm just better different. Couldn't fit in if I tried to, and I tried to. They say they love me. They don't even know me. I was lied to. I stepped into the fitting room, tried on compromise, walked around, looked in the mirror. It was not my size. I look better in the armor of God. Your true religion is not my style. Woo! Each line means at least two things. So even when you figure it out, that's only telling half the story. I'm in my old tee, new tee, put them both on. That's a testament for the wardrobe. I'm feeling cordial in a war zone with corduroys on. Now come on, bro. Y'all gonna try to tell me that song is called The Difference by J. Will Music. I'm sorry, but I'm just here to let y'all know today. All right, let's see what else we got. Let me move on. Also, creativity and originality is dying because of AI. You know what, Philip, that's a conversation I was having with some of my homeboys last week. I might have to talk about that in an upcoming episode. Thank you for that comment. I think that's fire. You talking that talk. Appreciate it, fam. All right. Anthony says he agrees. What else we got in here? Go listen to a timeless CHH piece. DispenzaMusic.com. Check that out. Appreciate you jumping on, fam. No doubt. Support that. God isn't copying what the devil promote, in my opinion. I think that some, not all Christian artists don't let the word, woo. All right. So let me tell you something about this. Again, we have access as believers to the word of God. When you're reading the Bible, let me tell you something. I think it's impossible to read the Bible and not have, as a creative, and God just not have ideas pouring out. It's just a never-ending fountain of creativity when you really are inspired by the word of God. And what this talks about is repositioning our inspiration. If there was a real message that I would want a Christian rapper to take from this, and is that Christian rap sucks when our inspiration is not the word, but it's the world. And I see far too many Christian rappers that even they make it to a level and all they do is talk bad about the genre, and all they do is talk about how, yeah, people aren't as good or this, and this. Well, okay. I'm not good as Dr. Dre recording songs in my basement and he get a $50,000 mix on Eminem's song. Okay, great, buddy. I'm not there yet. That's not my standard. There's still, you can do quality things in your own way. But this I don't like the idea of using the world as the standard for what we think is great. I think the word should be our standard. So how could somebody be so great to me if everything they talk about is anti-God? That's not great creatively. Okay, you could say it's skilled, sure, no problem. This isn't the same as other skills, though. I want to say this. A painter. Somebody remember, yeah, but painting is a secular job. Okay, cool. Well, if all you did was painted phrases that said, God is horrible, I don't believe in Jesus, I wouldn't think you were the most creative painter in the world. I don't care what you're painting. If you're painting a wall or a mural of Mars on the wall and it's skillfully done and you just happen to not believe in God, yes, okay. But your art does not directly go against God. See, it's a difference when this lifestyle messaging that people are putting out is a direct conflict with scripture. Ooh, should I give y'all the first bar of my new single? I got a new single. I'm shooting a video next week. I done shot like 2 videos already. Got another video shoot coming. This single that I'm dropping. Just for being on this podcast right now, I should give y'all the first line of this single. I'm going to do it. First couple bars. Should I do it, y'all? Should I? Do anybody care, or y'all don't care? I'm waiting to see if somebody care. If somebody care, I only need one person to care, and I'm gonna give y'all this. I'm gonna give y'all these first couple bars because it relates to what I'm talking about right now. But if don't nobody care, I'm gonna keep going. All right, don't nobody care. What else we got in here? Lots of new Christian rappers coming out based on gimmicks. I agree with that as well, Philip, and that's what I'm also trying to tell us, that sucks. The gimmick sucks. Blessing unto you, brother Jesse. The gimmicks really, really suck. Fame, point on point. Thank you, fam. Can't be claiming love for Jesus and carrying an AR-15 in your video saying you're a kingdom soldier. Oh, I agree with that, man. That's what stuff just get weird. people start doing weird stuff. It's time for us as kingdom rappers to start teaching doctrine in our bars, truly being set apart. I would agree with that. All right, we got a couple people that care. I'm going to tell y'all the first few bars of my single that's coming out on my new project. I'm not going to tell y'all the name of the song or nothing like that, and it's still going to be dope when y'all hear it. I never been the type to appeal to these pill poppers. It ain't appealing to me if it's offensive to the Father. Peeling back the layers to these problems. Seeing can't solve them. Look what the drills taught us. All right, that's all I'm going to say. I never been the type to appeal to these pill poppers. It ain't appealing to me if it's offensive to the Father. I'm peeling back the layers to these problems. Seeing can't solve them. Look what the drills taught us. Woo! That's what I'm talking about, bro. I never been the type to appeal to these pill poppers. It ain't appealing to me if it's offensive to the Father. That's the point I'm making. We are too in awe of things that offend and disrespect God. Like, okay, cool. Like, that would be like if somebody came out with a song where all they did was rap disses towards your mama. Duh, bro, I'm not with it. I'm not. You talking about my mama, but oh no, hold on, y'all. But it was skillfully done. It was sonically pleasing, even though they destroyed my mama in this diss track. Ma, you know I would never allow that. It ain't happening. I'm not rolling with it if you talking about my mama. You feel what I'm saying? Appreciate you, Philip. All right, couple more points I want to make before I get out of here, y'all. And it really comes down to what we were just talking about. How is sin cool, right? I got a bar in a song called Rap 101 back from 2012, I think. That might have came out in 2012, Sound Doctrine. I tried to take them to sin school, but all they heard was sin's cool. See, my thing is like, how we look at sin is something that we can never stop thinking about because we all have a sin nature. It's something that we struggle with. But the problem for so many of us, if we break this down at its most simplistic phase, is that we actually think sin is cool. So when we see somebody living for God, we call them corny. The person that's not doing the negative thing, they're the sellout or they're judgmental. The negative connotation is always placed on the righteous side. And we have to get to a point where we can grow beyond that and stop looking at sin as the cool thing. And I believe that Christian rap doesn't suck in its totality, but it does suck when we do certain things, when we allow the world to lead us, when we allow the sin to be the goal. And so many Christians always run behind people who represent sin but say God one time versus the people who say God all the time. And if they mess up one time, you'll destroy them. It's a very mixed up way that we kind of walk through life. What I do want to say is that I do think there's validity on both sides. And what I'm trying to say is like, yes, you might be a Christian rapper that's not skilled, but that's not because you're a Christian. There's people in the world that I see secular rappers all the time like, this person isn't good. So yes, I don't like the idea of attaching the stereotype to the fact that you're a Christian. Okay, this is a subgenre. It's newer. It's a subgenre of a newer genre, only a 50-year-old genre. So there's still growth that has to happen. I'm going to tell you something. And I'm going to wrap it up with this thought. This is the thing that sucks the most about Christian rap to me, and it's the Christian rap industry itself. Now, I want to be fair with this because there are probably all types of people out there that do it the right way. And I don't want to cast this stereotype or overgeneralization. And I also haven't been actively within the industry in the past few years. So in all fairness of people who doing their thing now, I'm maybe talking a little more historical here, right? I just want to be fair. A lot of the people in the Christian rap music industry value the world, want to be like the world, and try to run and navigate in the Christian rap industry the way that the world navigates. So I think the business of Christian rap can suck sometimes because of these same narratives that we're talking about, where the people who have the influence, that have the platforms, they're not actually looking for original, they're not scouting original new talent. They're looking for people who act like somebody else in the world, or okay, because you got a good mix that sound like that mix. Dog, it's a lot of horrible songs with good mixes. Listen to Motown music. They didn't have the mixing technology that we have now. They were doing analog stuff when we're doing digital. Maybe the frequency wasn't exactly the same, but you're not gonna tell me that Stevie Wonder song wasn't better than some of this stuff that I'm hearing today that's mixed to the T. So miss me with that. I believe that even those that are in leadership and influential positions, you have to set a standard of the things that you're going to promote and put out there, because it's causing a lot of these younger artists to create music to get that attention. Now, again, we're all different people. People are different. I'm not in a space where I'm creating music to be liked or like whatever. I'm sharing my music and my creativity because it's part of my purpose. But it's not dependent on my life success or me eating, or it's not my job. I'm not trying to be on tour for 50 days this year or whatever. So like I'm maybe in a different space than some people, and some people may be in a way different space than me. I work in business, but this is my passion. This is my purpose, and I love creating and I want to share. But sometimes it does suck being in this industry where I'm like, dang, they value the worldly stuff so much. A lot of the people behind the scenes don't even actually act like Christians. Like when you're trying to share a new song or like reach out to a platform, they act like music industry people. And that does suck. And I would love to be able to see that change. When the dark seems light, then how far have we fallen? Yeah. Facts. Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate the love. Look, I hope this sparks some interest and helps some people out. I would just ask you again, if you check this out, check out my music, my catalog, J Will Music. You could see me on Spotify, on Apple Music, or anywhere else where music is. Just Google J Will Music. You could check out my songs, add my songs to the playlist. But please, on the playlist, I can talk. But please be on the lookout for my new project that is coming out, Lord willing, in June this summer. You'll start seeing some promo and some things behind it, hopefully in the next 3 to 4 weeks. And then from there, I think I got some really, really interesting things to share. Yeah, man, I just shot 2 videos. We shooting movies. The way my mind sees this is like this album is like a movie. It's a concept. It's 11 songs and an interlude, so 12 tracks. This is a full idea that we putting the finishing polishes on. But I hope y'all enjoy it. But please do check out my previous music to get you ready. And you'll know when I start dropping the new music, you'll know why I'm having you listen to the old music to get ready for the new music. It'll make sense. So yeah, Chris, like I feel you, like leaving it alone, man, because like that industry stuff is weird, especially when you ain't on that. Jay Bryan, J Will, Gabe Parker, appreciate it, fam. Thank you for having me on that list of dope rappers. Ready to make the return, like you said. Hey, no doubt, Chris. Hey, much love to you, man. Keep going. And, we got to keep doing it for the right reason. You know what I'm saying? And keep growing with it. Matt Mitchell, that's my homeboy, too. Appreciate that, fam. Touch One Chosen, I will check you out today, fam. I appreciate you being on this stream. And look, if you out there and you are doing Christian music, I just want to encourage you before I get out of here, like, don't stop being creative. Don't stop growing. But I do think it's really important for our purpose behind why we're doing it to be rooted in Christ. And I want to be honest about something that's challenging. That's not easy to do, because when you create art, right? The truth of the matter is, when you create anything, we all want to be heard. We all want to be seen. That's really like the importance of having your validation and identity in Christ, because if you don't, it's so tempting to seek the validation of the world to be seen and be heard. There's, over 7 billion people in the world, right? And then you think about social media has just created this space where social media is like being in a room with billions of people and everybody's talking at the same time. And so it's very hard to be heard and to get attention. And then you see somebody that gets heard and you can feel like, oh, well, you can start comparing yourself. Don't do that. And we all might have a tendency to do it, but that's where we need to be praying and seeking God and asking God to check us. Like, why are you doing this? What's my purpose? So your purpose has to be a different purpose, behind the reason that the world is doing it. Because when you allow yourself to be a slave to attention, you will do anything for it. You will do anything for attention once that is what you are valuing as currency. And so I just want to encourage believers not to do that. And to be rooted in Christ, man, and to look in the word and make sure that what we're doing please God. So listen, thank y'all so much for checking this out. Please do like, share, subscribe to Inspire God's People on YouTube. We got more episodes and content coming from the podcast perspective. I could talk, but I appreciate y'all rocking with me today. And y'all go out there and have an amazing day, man. Please do download, or it's not download, it's stream J Will Music. That's JWILMUSIC, all one word together. Check me out on Spotify, Apple, and wherever else you listen to music. Check out Inspire God's People, the podcast, and y'all go have an amazing day. I love y'all and appreciate